Three, two, one. Welcome to Jim's Take, the final episode of 2024, the year in review, the Battle of Apathy, 2025, looking forward. Lots to talk about today. We're going to cover it all and hopefully leave you in a better place as we approach a new year, turn over that new leaf, blah, 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 blah. I was going to, in talking to the team, I was going to do this 2024 year in review. It was a crazy year. We did all kinds of stuff, and I was going to list out all the fun things I did. You know, ayahuasca and big business stuff and family vacations, and I just couldn't motivate myself to do that. Like I feel like it was such a not the right tone, and I just didn't care to do it. It wasn't like I did it, moving on kind of stuff, and I think when I look at 2024 and the transition into 2025, I'm not ready for 2024 to be over, but I'm kind of ready for it to be over. I'm not ready for 2025, but it's just kind of there. Like I feel like there's just this meh feeling as we're like, all right, another year, right? And I'm just not excited or upset about it. I'm just kind of indifferent on 2025, and it's been a struggle recently. Like it's not just on the new year, but on just kind of everything. And I went out the other day to get out of the house, and I worked out of a coffee shop for a little bit and the library for a little bit, and tried to motivate myself. And I came home, and my wife was working from home that day, and I was chatting with her. I'm like, the motivation to just create and push the envelope and all that just kind of, it ebbs and flows, and it's just not what it normally is for me. And, she said the word, which was eye-opening for me, and it kind of sparked it. And now I've got focus for 2025. It's apathy. And that awareness of just indifference, which can be good. Lack of judgment, all those things can be good. But apathy is, it just made sense. It scratched the brain in a certain type of way where I'm like, yes, it's apathy. And, I've spoken to a few people since that, and they were like, yes, totally. It's apathy. I just don't care. Like it's, and I realize now that 2025 is just going to be, at least for me, this battle of apathy. How do I overcome apathy? And so let's talk about that today. We're going to talk about apathy. It's not your typical kind of end of year in review, looking forward, let's go, rah, 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 go team, go. Because I think that's kind of off the mark a little bit. It doesn't really do anything. So apathy, let me define apathy first. Apathy is, for those who don't know, I think you've probably used the word, but we don't use it often enough. I think a lot of people talk about mental health. They talk about depression. They talk about all these things. But just hovering around there, linked to all of it, is this idea of apathy. And it is basically this state of emotional indifference. Kind of a lack of interest, a lack of enthusiasm. At some point, maybe a lack of concern about the things around them and the things that we typically care to do. And so I started to research apathy. Like, where does this come from, right? Is this something that you could just kind of flip on and off? And, once you name it, you can attack it and do that. And when we look at apathy and where it comes from, it comes from being overwhelmed. It comes from burnout, being disconnected. And it makes it, these external factors drive this internal churn, which makes it difficult to engage with whatever it is that we want to do personally, with the person that we wish to be, with the things that we want to accomplish, with any of those external things that are going on. And it's a significant barrier to living that intentional life that we all want to do, this idea of happiness and joy that everybody's talking about, we all have to find. And again, that's an external dictation of what it is that we're supposed to be doing and where we're supposed to be focused on. And so why apathy? Why do I have this feeling of apathy? Why do I think it's resonating? You hear it a lot in corporate where people just aren't interested in work. How do we engage our employees? And, everyone's disengaged because they're completely overwhelmed. We talk about this overwhelming change. We're being hit from so many different areas where we're overwhelmed socially because we're working from home, we're stuck in our thing, or pandemics put us into our home, it's comfortable in home, we don't want to go out, but then we're also getting this this little level of insecurity and this increasing level of loneliness. And so we have this inertia to go out and be social. So that's one part of being overwhelmed. We're being social is now overwhelming. We're overwhelmed at work. This level of fear, am I going to get laid off before the end of the year? Am I going to get laid off in Q1? Am I going to, what's going on? We hear this all the time. Is AI going to take our jobs? And, am I safe? Will I be able to provide for my family? Are we going to return to office? And how negative is that going to be? And oh my God, I have to commute. And we're always so focused on there. And what's next for me? This underlying fear is overwhelming. Those two individually are overwhelming. Put them together, add on a third one: home, family, the TikTok, the social media, the craziness of putting ourselves in this constant judger mode. We're watching these videos of people who are making apparently millions in crypto, and they're doing this side hustle that's making them $100,000 a month. And we've got this other shit. The parents who are making these amazing lunches for their kids, and we're just not doing that. We're constantly judging ourselves. We aren't the X, we aren't the Y, we aren't, living up to what we're supposed to do. And so we get overwhelmed. And you put all of these challenges here, and it's putting us somewhere other than here. We're not here. And when we get overwhelmed, we go into this type of protection mode, and we disengage. And we stop caring. It's easier to not care about something than to actually confront it and say, no, this isn't what I want, or this is what I need to dictate, or this is what I need to do. And a lot of it's driven from the external. We've got this external chaos drives internal chaos kind of struggle, but we need to differentiate. I was out in Portland, Oregon last week, a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I wear a watch. I've got a Garmin watch because I'm training for a triathlon and doing that stuff. And it, tracks your sleep and all that stuff. And it gives you a score, it gives you a body battery. When you wake up, it gives you your sleep score, and your body battery is X. It's at this number. If you want to get it up a little bit, maybe go for a light workout or do whatever. Stress drives it down and yada, yada. I woke up on Thursday in Portland, Oregon, and I checked my watch, and it told me my body battery when I woke up was at a 5. And it's on a scale of 100. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, how am I supposed to even approach a day when my body battery's at a 5? And I went back and I'm like, yeah, I look at it, but I don't really pay attention to it. But I went back over the last few weeks, and very rarely am I getting up like over 50. And I remember looking at it. We were on vacation in Iceland. We had nice family time, and I checked out completely, and it was up 95, 100. I woke up every day, 95, 100, 95, 100. And you're like, wow, this external, this is driving me down. And I realized, this feeling of apathy, this feeling of just not caring, it's going to be fine, whatever, right? Who cares about this? What's really interesting? And we workshop our ideas about how to get ourselves out of these ruts and everything else. And I realized that external chaos was driving my body battery down. It's exhaustion. It's this external chaos. And it's not about controlling the controllables. We hear about this all the time. Control the controllables. Focus on you. It's so simplistic, but it's not really feasible, right? I mean, we have a world around us. And I would say for 2025, one of my big focuses is intentional disengagement, right? I do need to disengage, but from the right types of things. I need to disengage from the things that are driving this external chaos. And instead engage on the things that I really need to pay attention to. It's not just paying attention to the right things. It's paying attention to what you have to ignore, right? And intentionally ignoring and disengaging from the right things. There's this challenge. This external chaos is always going to exist. But we have to intentionally disengage from the right things, and intentionally engage with the right things. And that's key. And that's my focus for 2025 is what's relevant. Because when I disengage, when I get overwhelmed and I get my work done. Yeah, I get my work done. My people are happy and my clients are happy and I do good work, but I have no emotion. I turn off emotion. I turn off this real kind of feeling of meaning. And when we talk about life, we talk about the meaning of life and the purpose of life. There are people who would argue that life really, at its surface basic level, life has no meaning. But the purpose of life is to give life meaning. And we get meaning from emotion. We get meaning from safe risk. We get meaning from good connection from other people. We get meaning from putting ourselves out and attempting new things and figuring out who we are. We have these experiences to figure out who we are. And I say in one of my keynotes, we get very angry with other people when we don't live up to our own expectations. But we haven't defined what expectations are for us. And so how can I blame other people? How can I blame external chaos? How can I blame all this other stuff when I haven't taken the time to fully define the expectations and put the effort in? I can't do that through apathy. When we haven't defined our expectations, and even when we do, with apathy, our approaches we take, we can't hit those expectations. Apathetic approach doesn't scratch the brain, scratch the itch, and it just spirals us further down. We go into these core basic emotions of just anger and frustration because we haven't hit what it is that we expect ourselves to do. And this isn't about being better. I don't want this to be like this kind of, oh, you could be better, and this isn't all about you. This is about, there is partly blame on you and partly blame on the world around us. Everyone is vying for our attention. Everyone's vying for a couple nickels here, a couple dimes there. And they're taking everything, I feel like, is being taken from us. And it's a distraction, and we have to be intentional on, you know what, I'm not going to pay the fee for this, and I'm not going to give my attention to this idiot who's speaking in front of a video camera on a podcast. I'm not going to give those types of attention to those people who are trying to sell us something all of the time. We don't need to be sold to. What we need is fulfillment and presence. We have to reframe our narrative. Being better is not necessarily a good mindset. Watching these videos of people who are talking about go to the gym and eat your macros and all this stuff. If you're constantly looking to be better, it's a nice idea, but you need a base, because if you're constantly focused on being better, you're not going to achieve it. And the one thing you can achieve, I'm not going to say don't try to improve, right? We have to focus on what we need in the moment. The one thing you can achieve is being present in your moment. Because if you want to get really philosophical, you don't have a future without a present. The past is irrelevant because it's beyond you. And that cannot impact your present, right? The future is a result of the decisions you make in the present. I'm reading a lot of Alan Watts now, and I love his writing and his thinking. And he says the future is a hoax if a person can't be present. And when we think about what we need today, what do I care about now? That's presence. That's relevance, right? Taking the deep breath, saying, you know what, I need to go for a walk and clear my head. I need to go lift some weights in the gym. I need to go, I'm sitting down and I'm eating something that's absolute garbage. That's not what I need right now. There's no love in this food. There's no love in this garbage and processed shit that we're just kind of shoveling into our mouths. I don't need that. I need food in front of me right now. I need to eat actual food. And so how do we do that? And we're so focused on what's happening elsewhere. And it's hit me hard over the past few weeks. I'm so focused on all these other things that are irrelevant to what I actually need. So let's go to solution. Let's focus on 2025, at least my focus for 2025. Yes, I have targets for the business. Yes, I have some goals that I'm doing an Ironman. I'm doing Lake Placid Ironman. If you're doing it, hit me up. Let's do it together. I'm running the New York City Marathon. I'm doing these things because I want to do them. Not because I'm in a bad place now and maybe this will spark it. I think that's why I started doing triathlons, was I didn't like where I was. Maybe this will challenge me in a different type of way. I do it because I actually enjoy the challenge of can I do it today? Can I follow my training plan today? Can I find this discipline? Can I do this type of things? It's my ongoing puzzle, but it's what I need to be productive. And the answer for apathy is confrontation. We have to confront it. There was, I mean, if you heard my ayahuasca thing, it's all about, ayahuasca is all about, not to get into, there's a lot of judgment around ayahuasca and everything else, but it was meaningful for me. This has put me down a spiral over the last 4 or 5 months, in terms of this wolf inside me, this dichotomy of two different people, and it's such a fascinating thing that I meditate on. I think about it daily, and it's but the thing with ayahuasca is you've got something going on in your mind, and you do this medicine in the woods and you drink it, and it's all about confrontation. And it's not fear. But, we talk about loneliness. We talk about being overwhelmed. We talk about chaos. We talk about apathy. We talk about depression. I see this all around. Like, people just have no anchor. And it's not about saying find your anchor. It's about confronting your apathy. What do you care about? Get out. Enjoy a good time. Invest in yourself. That's the answer to apathy. Confront the garbage food you're eating. Confront the laziness that we're sitting around and doing stuff. The answer to apathy is being intentional with where you are in that moment. And I've been thinking about this now for a while. And just this past weekend, my wife was under the weather. I had the kids, 2 kids, solo dad. And it was amazing because I was purely focused on them. We did so much together. But normally when my wife's around, I'm like, oh, well, she could probably cover that. And I could just I don't know what I'm going to do and do that. And, my wife and I joke about it. When the two of us are around, we almost kind of take a step off the gas a little bit, but we're both kind of, not always synced in terms of what we can do. And we're intentionally now focusing on like family. Let's get all 4. And then maybe we just go intentional, focus on 1 kid each and do that. There are answers. It's a puzzle that we have to figure out, but it's presence in that moment. We're looking for comfort and we're looking for happiness. The enemy to happiness is apathy. It's anxiety, right? Because it's putting yourself somewhere else. And anxiety of putting yourself somewhere else, and the apathy of not caring where you actually are. That's the detriment to happiness, the detriment to joy. And when we think about getting out of our comfort zone to explore who we are, to remember what's relevant to us, what are our values and our motivations, these are things we have to explore. This is what gives life meaning. And you can't do that in your home. You have to get out. We sit in our homes. We have to meet new people. Home is where you go when you need a break. But we don't need a break all the time. Okay, the break should be kind of, we should be enjoying life and figuring out what that is. And we become, in the future, what we prioritize today. And so I would encourage everyone, and this is my focus, so I'm prioritizing me in 2025. I'm doing the things that I love. I am going to write new books. I've got 3 books in the hopper, and I'm really excited about it. That's my priority. And I'm doing all these other types of things, and these are my priority. I've got, these are the things that I actually care about getting my ideas down and being creative and spending time with family and doing interesting things. That's it. So I'll leave you with one question as you focus on 2024. 2025. My God, it's 2025 already. Did you realize that since Y2K, we've just lived a quarter of a century? It's bananas. It's bananas. But the question is, what do you care about? What do you care about? And and we have to intentionally care. Maybe it's about other people. Maybe it's about us. Maybe it's about how we interact with other people. Maybe it's, the food you're eating, the work you're doing, the people you're around. I don't know what it is. But if you were to ask, what do you really care about? And then why? Right? I went through that. I guess it was over a year ago now. I went to Walden Pond just to reflect for a weekend. And that was my big question. What do I care about? I care about my kids. Why? Right? Not because you're supposed to. But what does that mean, you care about your kids? I want them to be independent. I want them to be strong. I want them to, you have to give these things meaning. Otherwise, it's just there. Life is just there. But it's a great thing to have because you get to give it meaning. It's such an exciting opportunity when you think about it that way. And it starts today. It just starts with what you want to do. It's amazing. So have a great 2025. I hope that was upbeat enough. Maybe it's not, but at least it's real. Anyway, I wish everybody a phenomenal last 2 weeks. of 2025, 2024. I don't even know my years. 2024. Have fun. It's going to be a great year. We can make it a great year if you're intentional about it. So good luck. Have a wonderful time. I love everybody. We're living in a place of love. It's a wonderful thing. And I'll talk to you next year. Have a great week. Thanks.